Hey, it's Maximo and welcome to Maximo's Travels. In this video, I'll be doing a flight review of CI-122 China Airlines flight from Taipei to Naha in Okinawa, Japan, aboard an Airbus A330-300. I'll be reviewing the cabin and the seats, the entertainment system, the service, and the meals that were served on board. I'll cover how to catch the express train from Taipei to the airport. We'll take a stroll through Taoyuan International Airport before checking out the Premium Plaza Lounge in Terminal 2. I'll check out what is perhaps one of the funkiest departure lounges I've ever been to in any airport. We'll land at Naha Airport in Okinawa and try and figure out how to buy tickets and catch the monorail from the airport to our hotel. Join us for this end-to-end in-depth flight review. We'd stayed 6 glorious nights in Taipei, but it was time to leave for our next destination, Okinawa. We checked out of our hotel and by early afternoon made our way to the airport. Our first obstacle was finding the right entrance to the train station. Google Maps said we have to take the airport express from gate A1, but for the life of us we couldn't find it. That's because we were in the wrong station. We weren't supposed to be in the Taipei Central Station, but an annex a little bit away from it. The area in the red circle was where we were supposed to be, and the big building where the finger's pointing is where we actually were. It wasn't helped by the fact that there was roadworks between the two buildings at the time. What made things worse was my absolutely awful sense of direction. If it wasn't for Joe, I think I'd still be wandering the streets of Taiwan today. We used the remaining credit on our Easy Card, or Taiwan's public transport IC card, to get onto the train. I'll leave a link to the IC card details in the description. We navigated our way to the correct platform and rode the express train to the airport. This is going to take about 36 minutes and it departs every 15 minutes. A very speedy and cost-effective way of getting to the airport. We got to Terminal 2 with a minimum of fuss. It was a lot livelier than we had arrived 6 days earlier at 4 a.m. in the morning. So we've just checked in for our flight to Okinawa. Hardly any queue, very efficient. Very well done, China Airlines. We sailed through customs and immigration and made our way through the terminal to the Plaza Premium Lounge. There's 2 lounges at Terminal 2 of Taiwan Airport, and we went into the largest of the 2 lounges, as the smaller one has restricted hours compared to the large one. Access to the lounge was via Priority Pass, which is complimentary with my American Express card. This lounge is quite big, but it's also quite noisy. The seats are sort of jammed together. There's a lot of people in this lounge, and while it might not be the most relaxing lounge I've been in terms of ambience, well, it is a whole lot quieter and less noisy than the main terminal outside. In terms of food and drinks, you can get teas, coffees, wine and beer. I don't think they were serving spirits. There were soft drinks on offer, both in can and on tap, as well as fresh fruit and some desserts. I think the highlight for me was the food. The food here was really nice. There was quite a large selection, and there were both vegetarian as well as gluten-free options. Both Joe and I made sure to eat something here before our flight because we had known in advance that there weren't any either gluten-free or vegetarian meal options available on the flight between Taipei and Okinawa, unlike the flight that we recently took between Melbourne and Taipei, where you could pre-order your special meals beforehand. The food here was quite flavourful and really nice and fresh. The lounge has 2 people sleeping compartments. We were having a long layover on the way back, and we inquired about the cost. We were told it cost 172 US dollars or 261 Australian dollars for a 6-hour stay for 2 people. Ridiculous. The toilets were clean and modern. They even had showers, which were complimentary so long as you booked them in advance. We had a pretty good experience in the lounge. It was quite big and a little bit noisy and somewhat impersonal, but what was lacking in ambience was well and truly made up in the food and beverage options available to you. I would recommend you coming here. Time passed quite quickly and it was soon time to head to our boarding gate. This is through a very modern, bright and very pleasing airport that is Taipei Airport Terminal 2. This would have to be the funkiest departure gate I've ever seen. Either that's our plane or that's our plane. And the last thing I expected at departure gate was a fake rock wall with some stuffed pigeons on it. Very strange. Each of the departure gates in this part of the airport had separate nautical type themes as well. It was actually very, very well done. It was time to board our plane. We were to get on the smaller of the 2 planes, an Airbus A330-300. The average age of these planes on the China Airlines fleet is over 17 years old, and I think it showed a little bit in terms of the cabin ambience. Thank you.
This way.
Hello. Apart from the priority passengers, we were one of the first to board the plane as our seats was right at the back. We were hoping it wouldn't be very busy, but no, the plane was absolutely chock-a-block full. We had issues trying to check in online, and as a consequence we were allocated an aisle seat in the centre of the plane, seats 39F and 39G. So people are streaming in, and that'd have to be the smallest screen on any airplane that I've ever been on. At least it's
about the
19. Yeah, look, that's my hand, and that's the size of the screen. That is.
It did used to be that small.
They used to be that small.
They did.
Surely not.
And we've got old-style remotes. See down the side?
Yeah. Where?
In the next seat. In the next seat. In the next.
Oh, on the old style remotes. Yes, indeed. I remember those. Now, there's no width either side of me. My hips are hitting. I don't know what the width of this is, but it's not very wide. I'm 5'7" and I've barely got enough leg room. There's a couple of inches here, but not that much. Are you comfortable, Joe? It is 1.5 hours. Good. So very, very interesting.
Sit up straight.
I don't think I've ever been in an A330-300, have you?
You're being dramatic. I'm sure you have years ago.
Well, I don't know what the age of this, so I'll look it up and see what the age of this airplane is. Yeah, there's not a huge amount of room. There is no individual air vents either, just a reading light above you. For a 17-year-old plane, it held up fairly well. The cabin was reasonably in good condition, while the seats were quite small and the entertainment system small. It did look quite modern and certainly was very, very clean. All the bits and pieces were functional. What I was quite surprised about was that the screen, whilst small and of a low definition, was a touch screen, But for the hour and 20 odd minute flight, I didn't really watch any TV shows, I just listened to music. And while it was a touchscreen, it wasn't very sensitive in terms of touch. I found that if I used my nail, I was getting much better results with the tapping on screen. The choice was quite limited in terms of music, TV shows and movies, and more than half the options were in Chinese as well. The flight was scheduled to depart at 4:45 p.m. and arrive in Okinawa at 7:25 p.m. It actually left 2 minutes late at 4:47 p.m. but arrived 9 minutes early in Okinawa at 7:16 p.m. It was dark by the time we got to Okinawa. And because we weren't sitting next to the window, unfortunately there is no takeoff or landing videos that I was able to take. All I had to guide me was the flight map, which is always welcome. I do enjoy watching a good flight map. And I've got to say the takeoff and the first few minutes of flight were quite rough and full of turbulence. In what seemed like record time, and it couldn't have been more than about 10 minutes after we took off, the cabin crew started serving meals. Everyone got the same dish, a noodle dish. It wasn't gluten-free, so I didn't try any. Joe said it was okay. She avoided the meat and just had some of the veggies and noodles. We each received some peached iced tea. Breakfast. At the same time. Yeah. Strange, aren't they? Wheat free though. Oh, they're coming already and you haven't finished. Too fast. It's only an hour flight. That was by far the fastest meal service I've ever seen. China Airlines did have quite a few flight attendants doing this, but it was very, very impressive. It was the fastest meal service ever. I think half an hour between dishing it out, having a seat, and collecting all the stuff. Wouldn't have been much more than half an hour, would it? It's half an hour. Very quick. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff. And it's full. There's only a couple of seats. I continued to listen to some blues song while we prepared to land. The audio quality and the quality of the supplied headsets was surprisingly good. The entertainment system did look up a couple of times. It was playing the same couple of notes again and again, and it locked up for several minutes at a time. That was the only glitch that I experienced on this flight. The return flight from Taiwan to Okinawa only cost around 300 Australian dollars. Even though the plane was quite old, the seats were narrow, there were no food options, it was quite a reasonably good flight experience. The crew was very friendly and accommodating. We were made aware that there was no meal options available to us, so we ate appropriately in the lounge before the flight. The flight was only short, thank goodness, because the seats were quite tight and somewhat uncomfortable with limited leg room. And we even found this little hidden mirror right at the end of our flight. It was quite cute, really. So overall, it was a reasonably good experience and it met our expectations. We thought it was quite good value for money. I would recommend China Airlines flight between Okinawa and Taiwan to you. The airport at Naha at Okinawa is quite small and it didn't take us very long to collect our bags and clear customs and immigration. We landed in Japan for the second time in 2 years. Our next challenge was to find the monorail station and catch the monorail to our hotel. We purchased a 48-hour monorail ticket from the automatic machines. I do hope you liked this video. If so, please hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notify bell so you'll never miss another upcoming video. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying me a coffee or smashing that super thanks button. And until my next video, which will be the first in my Taiwan series, you take care and bye now.
you.